love Napoleon. Napoleon's exciting. Okay, so what happened is Napoleon used to live on this little island outside of Italy, but it was not Italy. And or maybe it was Italy. He lived on this little island with his family. And
it was kind of Italy.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe
just a little bit.
About a half.
About a half Italy.
They only ate a little pasta. So
they only had half of the stuff.
Wasn't it the island in Corfu?
I don't know. It was an island. I know it was an island by Italy. And then, so his family was like really poor and stuff. And then they ended up moving to France so the children could get like education. And they sent him to like a nice school and everything. And then he grew up. He was in the military, but he was not French. Okay, well that'll be important later. He's like Italian or something, about a half Italian. And so he grows up and he's like in the military and he's really, really good at it. And then he meets this chick named Josephine, who's a whore. And then he meets Josephine and he's like, I like you, let's get married. And then I think she says no at first. And then he keeps asking her and like writes her love letters. And then she says yes. And so they get married. And he gets, he keeps moving up the ranks and whatnot, and he's like, I'm going to conquer everyone. And so they get married, and then he goes off to war, and then, like, she's been sleeping with everybody because her husband's not around, and all she wants is money and protection, so she's like, I'm going to be a whore. So she is. And then, so he finds out, and he gets really, really mad, and at this point, he's pretty high-ranked. I don't think he's, like, the leader yet, but he's pretty high-ranked. And so this is like a big embarrassment to him. So then he's like, you know what? You're not allowed to bathe. I like your natural scent. You're not allowed to bathe, and then nobody else will want to touch you. And that's why French people stink. That's why. Because they don't bathe. So anyway, no. That's what my teacher told me. They're like, that's why people in France smell bad.
Okay.
This just became offensive.
No. But, so Josephine just stopped bathing, so she smelled bad all the time. And then Napoleon was like, well, fine, since you're gonna whore around and everything, I'm gonna get multiple mistresses, and you can't do shit about it, because I'm a man.
Plus you can't bathe.
Plus you can't bathe. So he, like, has all these mistresses, and she can't do anything about it, because, he wears the pants. He does the thing. So anyway, eventually he becomes leader of Le France. And he's like ruling, and he's actually a fairly good ruler, but he's the leader of France, and he's not French.
And he eats baguettes.
Baguette. So anyway, so he's like the leader of France, and he's not French. Anyway, so then Napoleon, for some reason, thinks it'd be a good idea to invade fucking Russia in the winter. And what happened was him and his troops.
Russia's cold.
Yeah. So anyway, he went to Russia in the winter.
Like a dumbass.
And he took all of his troops over there, and everybody died and starved to death and froze to death.
Elephants.
Because it's Russia in the winter. And that's like the #1 rule. You don't invade Russia in the winter. Ugh. Anyway, so he goes over there and everybody dies. He wins no victories. Everybody's dead. Everybody's frozen to death. If you're not frozen to death, you have frostbite and you're like missing your toes or legs or nose or whatever. And
or your baguettes.
Your baguettes. And so then he was like, well, maybe this wasn't a good idea. So he goes back home, and then everybody's mad. Because everybody's dead now. All their soldiers are dead. He went with like 20,000 soldiers, and he came back with like 500. It's like everybody's dead, and then he didn't even win anything, so they're all pissed. And then it's like, let's impeach Napoleon. So they like kick him out of office, right? And then they send him away to an island to go live peacefully for the rest of his days. And he sits on this island. And he's not allowed to leave, but he can just do whatever he wants on his island. So he like writes biographies about himself, because apparently he was conceited. And so he writes all these biographies about himself, and at some point he like escapes the island and goes back and like tries to like retake the throne. Like he basically essentially ran into, it would be like somebody running into the White House, pushing Obama out of the chair in the Oval Office and sitting down and being like, I'm president now. And that's pretty much what he did. And then there was like people in the street, and they're like, "Yay, Napoleon!" And then there's people like, "But he killed everybody because fucking Russia in the winter." So then they're like, "Okay, bro, that was real funny. That was real cute. Go back to your island. Go. Can you not?" So he gets go home, and so he gets sent back to the island, and he's just there and he like writes all these biographies about himself. And how much, like, he was a great conqueror and even though Russia. So he, like, writes all this stuff about himself, and that's how he dies. He just, like, grows old and is, like, writing about himself because he loves himself. The end! And then he made all those paintings of himself with his hands in his pants.
No, they weren't in his pants.
Yeah, in his shirt.
In his shirt.
But still, it was like, eh.
No, it was up here.
No, it wasn't. They're, like, on his stomach.
No, they're not.
They're
on his chest.
They're on his chest.
Right here.
Anyway, awkward pictures.
The end.
The end.